Hello, guys. I'm just getting warmed up here, so to speak. Hello, Radomir. I see your chat now. Hello, guys. I'm just getting warmed up here, so to speak. Hello, Radomir. There you go. I don't know if you could hear the long echo. That's how long it takes, Radomir, to get. Hello, Shunter. How are you doing? Welcome back, both of you. I don't know if you guys could hear that playback of the voice, but it was probably I just did that out of my own curiosity. It's good. I don't know, just guessing. 12-second delay between the time I say something and the time you guys hear it. So once again, I'm going to try to pay a little bit of attention to the people that are on Discord, but in general, if you definitely want me to see your comment, I'm going to pay more attention to the YouTube chat. All right. Well, it's 2 o'clock. I do want to give people a little extra chance to get in here before we get too started. I don't know. Do you guys? I know it's a little bit awkward, probably having to type everything in, but I don't know if you guys have any suggestions beyond chariot racing. Radomir suggested that we have a train race in our loop. Um, One of the popular. I was thinking about this later on when he brought up racing. One of the popular racetrack is, I'm sure you guys probably heard of it, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and they call it the Brickyard because it's shaped like a brick, and this is sort of shaped like a brick too, right? You know, it's like a very square-ish kind of racetrack. Hello, Simon. Welcome. Yeah, I don't see anybody chatting on Discord at this moment, so we'll just pay attention to the YouTube chat for a minute. So I think there's enough of us here to at least start the conversation, though we might have to repeat ourselves a couple times. A little bit different this time, and I actually reloaded the map so that you guys didn't get too much of a sneak preview. But this is the map. I usually make a map save after every episode, so this is actually the map save after today's episode. Even though I have recorded a few extra because I'm going to go away for a couple days, so Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday's episode is already up on YouTube, so I can leave this evening. So that means that anything that we say today isn't going to go into effect, right? Like this is just a pure chance for you guys to say whatever you want. And I see Radomir has a thought there. The first thought. That's to warn us that we're going to get a lot of extra thoughts, I think. Yeah, so now when I did this, I guess one of the questions would be, because I've never really laid out a city like this, and if you guys notice my building technique, and I am kind of responding to you in a weird way, Radomir, is, I kind of step into it, and I decided when it came to building, like Tuesday's episode is going to be about the food factory over here. You'll kind of see how I like work my way through it. So at some point we have to decide where to start. And just so you know, as a measuring tool, if we come here to our train tracks, this is just, we can measure sometimes with the electrical thing. That's kind of the easiest way. But this railroad track, here, let me put on the wireframe, which we'll probably leave on for a lot of this episode. This wireframe here is like just under 10. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little tiny gap there, and it's point 0.4 or 4.0 steel. So if you go 10, meters, I'm assuming that is, because each one of these I know is 10 meters, or at least it seems that way if you compare it to the size of something else that you know the size of, or at least we can assume it's 10 meters in our conversation. Would be fine with me. Now, somebody said there's so many per mile. Just so you guys know, a mile is longer than a kilometer. So while there may be so many per mile, I'm not going to actually use that as our measurement. Be a little long. But I would like to try to find the middle here and sort of, get a good idea of what we'll do kind of exactly without spending too much time. Now, another thing that I know we're going to need to do, and I'll get this started while I wait for your comments and hopefully a few more people show up. But if not, hey, we'll have fun. And I want to finish this construction office. Now, one of the things I thought about was this is one of the reasons I'm doing it this way. I don't want to destroy the regular playthrough here, right? And we could buy things with dollars or rubles here, so we can turn on time. We don't have to really care. I guess we could have catastrophes if we turn on time for too long. Oh, there we go. So now we have a construction office here, and I wanted to get an idea how far we can actually level things, just so that if we need to, I don't intend to level everything perfect, but if we want to see if a building fits or something. Yep, so we need a bulldozer there. How about here? Need a bulldozer there. Okay. Oh, well, you know what would have been smart on my part? Putting in a bulldozer, an excavator. Here, let's get 2 of them because we got money that we can waste, because we're just going to delete this anyway. Well, not delete. I'll probably save it at the end in case I have to refer to it. But all right, so now can we go to here? Yes. I was going to say, I thought that was awful short. Yep, but we can't go to there. See, I'm getting good at this game, right? I can zero right in on where we could build. Look at that. Yeah, right there. Nope, okay. Yeah, right about there. So what I'm thinking of is we just plop down. I already came in. See this little dot right there? We can go over to about this area, and then we stop. See that? And that's probably from one of these over here. This one's in place, right? Yeah. So, all right. So now, that means, if we go about that distance and just like plop one up over here, maybe. One being a construction office. Right, that's a green area, right? Yeah, there we go. So let's just auto-complete that. Shouldn't take long. There we go. And then we can we get American anything? Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, we can get a bigger American excavator, can't we? And a bigger bulldozer. We should have done that. Cool. All right, so that should get us, to where we can level anything, because they're like, even when I went to do this, there was like this stuff in the way. So let's just level that out while we're here. All right, so that was a complete distraction in some ways from what Radomir had said, which was keep the tram simple. Yeah. So I'm not picturing any industry. If we talk about tracks, and this is, I want all of your guys' opinion. Anything that might sound like me dictating for the purpose of this episode, I'm going to listen to my advisors as the dictator of Reverstan. Anyway, so what I'm thinking of is anytime we talk about railroad tracks, we actually are talking about people moving railroad tracks and stations. Yeah, and that's where, so like, one of my pictures was, I don't know if you guys watched that episode or if you remember, like one of these two things would be a road and the other one would be a train. Like, in other words, I think in some ways we might be better off if this was actually like a paved road all the way around here. And that, like, we would have like a tram loop that would go here. Now, of course, we would have other roads like for buildings that might be outside of this, but this would be like our version of Red Square. You know what I mean? This would be inside of this circle would be where all of the big, this is where all my relatives are going to live. Let's put it that way, like the palaces and the big government buildings. And yes, yeah, we'll have. Yeah, we don't have newspapers. I guess newspapers are kind of a thing of the past, aren't they? Yeah, we don't have newspapers in this game, which is a little bit weird considering that in 1960, when the game starts, you know, was there even TV? You know, I guess there was in 1960, but not too much. I mean, you know, it was when it was just coming around. I guess the 50s is when it started growing, but I'm not sure how much the average Soviet republic had TV back then. But then again, I guess in the game it would take you a while to get to that point. You know, to get to that point anyhow. I'm just checking something on the... There's a screen I could never remember how to get to. That's really my favorite screen for being able to see what's going on. And I don't know why I can never remember how to get to it. Yeah. There's a button. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'll just keep reading it here. Okay, check TV and yeah, so that's probably about the same as America. I mean, I think there was a couple things that were like right after World War II that had the TV in them. All right, I'm gonna forget about that, but for a minute here until I need to take another break or something. All right, so let's. Does anyone else have any, Shunter? Do you have any thoughts on how town should be? Like some people had reacted to my 8 radio stations being a bit of overkill. I don't have all my comments up, and I hate to say a name and then get it wrong, so I'd rather just not say who did it. Let's level out a little bit more while we're waiting. In fact, I think I'm gonna do the smoothing tool a little bit. It's not that we need things level for what we're doing. Just so you know, I'm kind of dilly-dallying here, taking my time. Give people about 15 minutes to get here. And if you're 15 minutes late, you're just late, right? It's all good. There's no penalty for being late for sure, but other than you don't get to necessarily hear and see the beginning. See, that doesn't, like, when you're not looking for level, the old tool, and I've thought about it, because leveling is obviously a bugaboo with me. You know, like, that's really, especially now that they've got it so powerful, like, it's really not a bad way. And I don't think they ever intended you to take down mountains. I don't think they were thinking of that. And I bet you it even caught them off guard when people started complaining, I can't build a road right over the mountain, you know? So, like, but when you think about it, other than it would have taken a lot of time, that's really not that bad a tool. I mean, in today's version, I just did it in seconds, or a minute, but. Yeah, I was wondering about that area of effect too. Like, you know what? We could probably look here and see. Well, this loyalty. The problem with looking here is that these people didn't have a chance to lose all their loyalty. Because I think when you move them, doesn't their loyalty, like, don't their stats just kind of zero? But certainly, if we were to look in Lumbriska. Like, these people, nah, look, their loyalty is high. There's no way their loyalty would be this high. It doesn't mean they're not, you still could be right, but they're pretty far from Revergrad up here. I mean, I would say that's like a quarter of the map away, because Revergrad's about halfway down the one side, more or less. Yeah, I would say it's about halfway down the one side. And Limbriska would definitely not have any loyalty if it wasn't for that radio station. And I have no problem with the idea of, like, I wouldn't, if I wasn't trying to, like, if they had more buildings that were like statues of me and monuments to our own greatness, I probably wouldn't be putting down more than one radio station, if that makes sense. Like, in other words, part of it is just there's a limited number of these buildings, to put down. So, like, in other words, we can put down, we could put down multiple radio stations as far as I'm concerned. Like, if we think, like, this is just, again, this is a monument to me and I'm sorry. Radomir knows what I'm talking about. You need monuments to yourself if you're the glorious leader of your Soviet Republic, So, like, I could picture, like, 4 radio stations. I mean, sorry, these are TV stations, like, one on each corner. And again, no way you would need 4 radio stations, or TV stations, but they look cool. At least in my opinion, to some degree, they look cool, So this is not about logic, or this is just about almost silliness, obviously, because, please don't take me serious with any of my talk of greatness. Though I do believe that about myself once in a great while when I do something really cool. The majority of the time, I'm no egomaniac at all. But I think you guys get the idea. So it's more like, I don't know, what other buildings do you think would look cool? Like, I mean, we could put up pollution monitoring stations periodically, and obviously then we have the other more decorative things here. Education, trees, and accessories. Like, if, like I said, it would be cool if they had, like, Michelangelo's. I don't know if you've gotten to that episode yet, but yeah, one of my suggestions in the near future will be to have, like, a bust of me that looks like Michelangelo is David, So anyway, if you think, there we go. Like, we could have statues. I'm not a real big fan of Lenin, to be honest with you, in real life, but these statues, they're fine, but they don't look very grand relative to, to me, it's this is the biggest Soviet emblem, which is fine, but I want something the size of the Statue of Liberty, like, for our greatness. If that's not too egomaniacal, right? Is that the word? Let's straighten out some more stuff. We are now at the 17-minute mark, so if they're not here, that's okay, but we'll move on. We'll just get this a little level to where we can have a chance of putting some buildings in here, and we can lay down some track. So I guess the first thing to decide on, and that's one of the reasons I started out with mentioning that railroad track thing, is, let's just bulldoze all this out of our way so I can over this, is trying to find, like, exactly where we're going to put this thing. So I would like to try to find the middle. So we know that every 4 tons of steel is 10, and then even if we just use it as a measuring tool in its own right, like, a measurement shall be 4 tons of steel, if you know what I mean, like, a distance measurement could become. So if we just sort of measured, I would say, like, you're kind of getting way up into these hills here. We're not going to be able to go right across, are we? No, not right there. So, like, as a general statement, you know what, that building's in the way there. Let's go across here. So, I mean, this we could take out pretty easily, but it's going to get tough into here. So let's just say we went from, like, here. It's not going to, too much descent. Yeah, see, this isn't the greatest measuring tool, is it? I was hoping it would tell us it doesn't tell us a distance unless we're flat enough to stay green. There we go. So that's 36 tons of steel. So see what I'm saying with that being a measurement. If we came back to like 18 tons of steel. And this is, I know this is kind of random, but you know, right at the end of this, we can make a mark here. That would be like the middle, right? And then if we kind of went to the end of that, and then we'll make another mark from here. 18 tons of steel. Oh, too big a climb. All right, well, let's see if we can't do it. No, I don't want you to stop it. I don't want to lose my middle mark, but it's not letting me really do what I want. There you go. That's 18 tons of steel. No, you don't like that? Well, anyway, that gives us an idea. Like, this would be the outskirts of it. What do you think? You know, like, in other words, we might build some stuff over, but this would be the box that we would start to be contained in. And then I would say, on this end, we've kind of already built this road, and there's nothing down here that would stop me from building anywhere. And now, how many tons of steel is this? Yeah, see, this is not ideal. Can we go there without turning around? So this is like 17 tons of steel from, well, yeah, from there to there. And we kind of need to get an overall length idea, right? So this is another 20 tons of steel. So what would that be? We said 17, 20 is 37, and then this is 23 to about the end of this run. All right, so that would be 50. Let's turn that red somehow. And then if we went, what do you think, to about this hill here? Because then we start, well, even right to about here, right? Yeah, so if we just add a little bit more to where we were before, 50, let's say 60 tons of steel. It's a hell of a measurement. I saw the chat. Had a concert to take care of. Yes, I would say, I did not expect you to say that, but take care of the concert. Absolutely. All right, so I just measured 60 tons of steel across here. And so we're going to go to about 30 tons of steel off of this road if we can. Here, let's level, smooth this out so just so I can build the railroad. Smooth this out while we're here. I'm just trying to find the middle of our area and kind of define some endpoints. And heck, I could even watch my own video, right? It's kind of weird doing that especially when you're not used to it. All right, so that's 36 tons of steel. 29. So if this was one end of our town and this was the other, let's erase this. Yes, I did see that same exact video, and that is a good trick. Absolutely. We're just using a ton of steel as an actual measuring. It's like a meter for us, you know, like. So this, more or less, we're going to call this the center of our town. Make that one a little longer so it's evener. Well, you know what? I can leave that there, right? We'll just do this. Make it look a little bit... It's like an engineering line, right? So that is the center of town going this way. And probably want to even do that, right? And then we can measure off of that line as sort of, you know, to make it nice. Does that make sense? All right. So let's just use dirt roads because they're a little bit easier, I think, to deal with in some ways. And that's going to be too high, but for today, that'll be fine. So the more or less extents of the town will be and we can leave that railroad there. No, don't do that. There. Works not world. I'm not sure what you mean. All right, there we go. So that's doesn't at all look like the center because that's not the center. I see. That was just a line I drew in error. But that's a lot of leveling. Really, I can get rid of this one altogether, right? Oops, this tool. Now that I messed it all up. Oh, we're on the road tool. Never mind, we'll do this anyway. We don't have to worry about it. It's one of the first times I've ever not, just gotten into a map. I just deleted stuff. Not worried about the money at all. So. Yeah, and then this would need to. So what I'm doing is just making a box here that will be our sort of our limits, All right, so that's where I'll keep our town. This would be like the center. So if we build stuff, and again, none of this is actually going to stay, so. Hold on 1 second. I need to do something. All right, sorry about that. Of course, you get into the middle of a live stream and the neighbor decides to cut his grass, and I had a window open that he was on the other side of his yard, but he'll get over here eventually, so sorry. All right, anyway. All right, so let's see. What do you guys think of that? I know it's kind of nothing but a big mess at this moment, but who is what queen? Or who is the queen? I don't understand your question 100%, Shunter. But I will try to answer it if I understand it. Yeah, you know what? I haven't seen that. I've heard it's a good movie. I used to like Queen. I'm not quite old enough for the 70s music, and I'm the oldest kid of a family that isn't very particularly musical. So I never really listened to a huge amount of music until I get my own teenage years, which was more like I'm an 80s kid. Okay, so let's start designing some stuff. If this is the center, how big of a space do you guys think we should leave? Like, what would we put in the center, if anything? Or do we just leave it open? I mean, their selection of trees and such aren't exactly spectacular in the game. We don't really have anything colorful, but, you know, like you could just have, oh, what is this? What is, oh, they did a, I didn't know that. Look, they did a, what do you call it, tool? Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's great for, yeah, can you do it? Yeah, look at that. So when it comes to redoing the forested areas, you don't have to, hey, that's a big plus for doing lumber yards. I gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't paying quite enough attention. It's not a problem. Feel free to banter to your heart's content. All right, so anyway, any thought on how wide and what we should put in the middle? Yeah, we could definitely do, you know, well, can we do it? Of course, there's going to be... Purchase that. How much does the Statue of Lenin cost, I wonder? Not that I care, but there you go. And I don't think we'd necessarily have them facing that way, but we could do like 4 statues to Lenin, one facing in each direction. Now, do we have, like, here's another question. You know, I just suggested like a central mall area. We don't have to have a center. Like, you know, we could have like a lot of cities have a, you know, small central area, like a market or something here, and then have just roads that come out in those directions, or, you know, in 4 different directions. Or we could have, you know, a big open area there, like I was suggesting. And again, it's not that I'm married to it. So if we were going to have trees around it, I don't know how many, you know, that's not very impressive looking, is it? Yeah, let's do a tree. I picked these Acacia just because they're easier to see. Like, you know, I mean, they're kind of whitish. So, I mean, if we did have like, and again, this is all temporary. We'll make it look nicer in the, quote, real map. But, you know, so that's saying that if we had a center area, Now, do we have it elongated where we have something down here, or do we just have a square right around it? And I'm going to, sorry for the long pauses, but if I pause, it's just because I know there's a 10 or 15-second delay. Give you guys a chance to type something in about your opinions as we develop this. I do like the idea of some kind of a center, like someplace we can march the troops up and down. Not that we actually have troops in this game, but here, let's turn the wireframe off. I don't know that we need it for the moment. But is that about what you were thinking, Radomir? Not sure if anyone else has an opinion about how it should be. See, there's a few more people watching. Quietly in the background, I assume. Now, let's see. Maybe they're on... I should open up the Discord, huh? No, nobody's saying much in the Discord this week for whatever reason. It was pretty popular last week. All right. Well, since no one's screaming out suggestions, I will... let's get rid of these. Hey, Chuck. Welcome. Now, I am assuming you mean Austria as opposed to Australia? Well, the way I've played has changed a little bit since then, but certainly still similar. I think things have become more grandiose. Like up until the point I made the steel mill over here, like leveling was just like far harder. Actually, up until the point that I made, I don't want to ruin everything for you if you're just watching the episodes back to back, but up until this point, it was still hard to level anything, and then they made it easier. So in some ways, when you make leveling easier, you just make the building grander, right? So I still like the challenge of building something hard to build, like that's why these things are getting a little bit ridiculous these days. Plus, back in that day, we didn't have much money for stuff, which I will go back to. I am having fun building, though. Australia. That good. That you're my first person I've heard of watching me from Australia, but welcome. And I'm glad you liked the series. Thanks for the compliment. So what we're doing, I don't know if when you came into the stream, is I'm trying to get people's opinions. Now, we don't have to do this if nobody really wants to, right? Radomir's participating a lot. And, we can go back to the purpose for the live stream. I mean, I'll come up with something for the town on my own and through the YouTube comments. And it's not a lot of people have left comments, on the videos, a few here and there. So it's, I'll definitely take any comments from the videos or whatever, but if this is, hey, Seb, welcome. This is one of, it's hard to get comments for videos. Like, for example, I'm going away this week. This in America, this is a holiday weekend. So this is Saturday, of course. And so I ended up having to make, and Monday, like almost everybody has off. It's called Memorial Day, if you didn't know that. So I'm going to go down and celebrate that. It's not really a celebrate. It's like memorial for fallen soldiers, but it's also it's our unofficial beginning of summer in this area of America and many areas and mostly that's because kids are going to get out of school soon for the summer. Here in America, kids don't go to school mostly from like the middle of June until like the end of August. So this holiday sort of marks the beginning of when people go down to the beach and all that stuff. And a couple of my cousins live very close to the beach. So I want to go out for a boat ride and a few beers and fishing and watching the races on Sunday. So anyway, that's enough of that. Oh, is it? Good. Yeah, nothing like holidays, right? So, well, that's the question for you guys that are here. I mean, if do you guys want to do this as far as trying to lay out a little bit more. I mean, I don't need all the details, but just to get a general idea if anybody had any thoughts on how they would build a grand town. But I fully intend that, I don't know, I was thinking about an hour of this, which we're getting all up to 40 minutes anyway. And, like we could just go on to trying to do another hard start map or whatever we decide, make up some rules for a new starting map. That would be perfectly acceptable thing to do to me. This kind of thinking that I've done, by the way, I picked out like what I would consider the center and then drew a few boundaries, which I would eventually delete. This would be probably pretty similar to what I would do in the real series. So this, whatever we do here, would just be a little bit of a planning thing anyway. Let's take a look at it from a different angle. Yeah, you can see I was off a little bit before on what I would consider the center. Yeah, the center doesn't look... This is not the end if this is the center, but then this is getting boxed in, so maybe this would be the center. Yeah, I think I messed that up. I think the center should be more like over here, huh? Yeah, that's almost no doubt. Well, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Let me click. Make sure the chat's still even working, right? Sometimes the chat does just pause at that point. No, I think you guys are just being relatively a little bit quiet. And Seb, thank you for the compliment. I do appreciate it. I wanted to, one of the things just, it was almost made me laugh the other day. Like I don't ever get any money from YouTube, but all of a sudden, like I got money. It was like 0.0003 cents. So it was like, and then all of a sudden they gave me money like the next day, and it was like, I ended up with like literally a penny. It's like almost, one of those, like if a waitress or a waiter gives me like, here in America, we tip, I don't know if you know, waiters and waitresses don't make much per hour, but we're supposed to tip here pretty well. And people understand that. So like if you tip 20% of your bill, then you'd give the waiter $20 if it was a $100 dinner, maybe a few people went out. And, like one of the things, if a waiter or waitress is really horrible, I would give them a penny. That's what YouTube is giving me is a penny. Anzac Day. Yeah, remembering the fallen. I mean, some people stretch it here into like just for the soldiers, but it's really, when it was really started, it was meant to be remember the fallen, So that's Memorial Day, if that makes sense. Yeah, with paying the catch up, at some point here, as Revergrad gets built, I think I'm going to, and I mentioned it in the last 2 weeks ago in the live stream, I'm going to probably pick another game and start playing it. Now there's 2 games coming out here. Let me go, you know what? I put them on my wish list on Steam, so I won't see the chats when I have this open, but let me go over to the store. So I don't know if you guys like railroad games, and I have no idea if these are going to be any good. I might even, but I'm almost certainly going to buy them. And let's go to my wish list here. My computer monitor went bad and my computer crashed the other day, or now I've got this monitor that's not the right, it's like a huge monitor on a really onboard graphics card. Like it's the one I just use this to process the videos mostly. All right, here we go. Sorry, this is taking so long. So there's one called Railroad Corporation, and that looks like some kind of just a railroad game, and the other one was Constructor Plus, which looks more like a like City Skylines like game. Both of them aren't too dissimilar to this. They haven't come out yet. They both come out on the 27th, which is what, like Tuesday? Monday. So they both come out on Monday. I don't know, but if you guys, happen to see that, keep that in mind. I'm thinking of doing that because I know some people have actually complained at me that I put out too many videos. It's hard to yeah, I will probably put out some spoilers, but it's not the intention, and nobody's really. I mean, Radomir seems like he's got other things to take care of. He's got some concert going on in the background, in a sense. I'm not sure if he's even still here or if he's tied up with that, but normally this series is about, or was about, or the live stream has been about, just a whole nother map, right? A whole nother experience. At that point, I had picked the hardest, most challenging start. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what you're thinking there, Seb, is exactly kind of what I'm thinking of. And like I said, I think my center here is no good. Let me get this bulldozer back out. And I just want to move this down without being so scientific about it. Let me move this. So what I'm thinking of is rather than even just yeah, there we go. Goodbye, Lennon. I'm going to try to get right in the middle just by eyeball, like right here. So what I was thinking of, let's just start, since I'm not getting just a huge amount of feedback from you guys, which is fine. Don't feel pressured. Trust me, I love doing this kind of thing. We're going to get rid of this, whatever. Look, there was the communist headquarters there, right? So what I was thinking of, let's start with that, since why not? Is we would take like a road around the middle here, right? So let's just say, yeah, if I move, let me close this just for a second. I'm just going to measure with my screen. So like my screen is over here, right? And then we're going to go to so that's where I'm looking at is like right there, right? So we'll zoom in on that. So this is going to be the middle. And oops. And we'll put like just a little road there to just mark the middle. So here's what I'm thinking. I am thinking that I was going to use the railroads to kind of measure. I am thinking that we would do, that's not right. Oh yeah, 10 tons of steel. The whole thing is about 60 tons of steel wide. If we use tons of steel as a measuring. And I want to put on the wireframe so I can get this a little bit straighter than that one was. And we'll go like another 10 tons of steel this way, right? And that's about 6 over. So let's just build a road. That's not a road. Sorry. Can't you? Oh, now we're on the roads. Okay, delete that. I thought I clicked it. I guess I didn't. All right, there we go. So if we build a road that's like about that long, maybe I'll make it a little bit longer. And about that long. And none of this is going to stay. So this is what? That's on the 1, 2... Can't really see. I think that's pretty close. Right? I just made it extra long so we could do something like that. That one's not extra long, so let's just do this. And I didn't think it was going to like that, but messed up my road a little bit. And that went up to about here. Again, I'm going to redo all of this in the official series. So we would have this central area, right, that would be like based on roads. Now I don't know. Yeah, obviously you'd need a road in and out of here, but I don't want to imply that I would have them come this way. And so that's the exact kind of question, like as far as how wide we make this. Do I put, and believe me, I'm not afraid to go too far with the design. Like, could we do, and I know there's no point in it. Sometimes with this, there's not going to be a point. So bear with me. If we did, oh, it's over in the other one, isn't it? Now, where is the communist headquarters? I thought it was in there. Is it in here? I guess it's an like, oh, look at that. It would, if we made that just can't build due to infrastructure. What infrastructure is there? Because let's zoom in. You know, I'm thinking of like really grand, in other words. Yeah, see, we could probably, let me do this. We'll just level this just so I can place it. And then we could probably put the road more or less back up. Look, it turned green right there. So we could have two communist headquarters there, right? Can we put our road back up? What's wrong? Why don't you like that? Game's weird sometimes, isn't it? Again, none of this is permanent. It's all getting deleted. All right, let me catch up on the comments here for a second. Okay, so then what about this? What if we had, like, in between the two buildings, what if we did, you know, like a Soviet emblem, a Soviet concrete symbol, and I don't know, does it really make a difference which one of these you build? Here, let's, just so we can see what that actually looks like, let's purchase those. Yeah, how many more? These are just little versions of the same. We could do like red stars. Here, you know what? Let's put this on auto build from rubles. What do you think of that for like a Soviet themed kind of? Now again, like, it's, to me, it's more of a concept at this moment. Like, maybe we could come up with something that looks even better. Like, could we fit one of them in here? Like, would we even, maybe we put it like right on the other side, right, of our road. Let's turn off the wireframe for a second. Great, Chuck. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, don't feel pressured. I mean, I'll just, you know, I would like your input, so I'm trying to give everybody a chance to respond, knowing that there's a delay in the time I talk to the time you chat. Plus, you guys have to type everything. So from the time I say something, it's usually like 30 seconds before anybody actually gets the chance to type something in. So if it's sounding disjointed on my part. It's not because my brain is so slow. It's just because, I'm just trying to give everybody a chance to think about what I said and then type it in. And, and there's really no pressure to respond at all. Let me just go over here because it's annoying me a little bit and complete. Okay. Oh, I had it on auto build, so it auto completed the road. It's not quite what I wanted to do, but that's good. That'll give us a reminder that it's an actual road there, right? There you go. So we would have like a road all the way around there. I don't mind building these things, but I don't necessarily want to build them all just because I would like to save some money. Because I've never actually built Communist Party headquarters. So let's go ahead and do that, just so I can see what's on the insides. And I've never actually built a TV station either. You guys have actually seen some of you are catching up with the videos, but you've seen the extent to which I've played the game. Like, I never really have played it past the point I'm at in the series. So a lot of it's learning for me as I'm doing the series. There we go. So I think that's... What do you guys think of those extra stars? I think that... I like that. I want a statue that's bigger. Poor little Lenin, he's, nothing wrong with him, I guess, but he does look kind of teeny, doesn't he? Yeah, and by the way, building this will give us a little bit of an idea. Now, what I was thinking out, like this whole inner, I'll call it an inner circle. If there was like palaces and like hotels and more things to build, I wouldn't be suggesting that we build multiples of the same building, but when it comes to this is about decadence and celebration of our Sovietness, celebration of my greatness as the dictator, And even if it takes us forever and a day to build this stuff with trucks, we'll just dedicate workers to doing it for a long time, just for the fun of it. Well, that's, by the way, Seb, after a little while here, I'm going to push forward, probably just because it's kind of got off to a slow start. But most of this episode, I want to be, or not most of it, but before the end, before 5 o'clock, I want us to have decided what the next live stream is going to be about. I have no problems if we were to start a map. I've never started a map with the pre-existing towns and whatnot. So if we want to do a live stream with that, it's sort of up to everybody when it comes to the live streams, what we do. It's a community event about learning. It's not about, me and my ego as the great leader of Reverstan at that point. So yeah, if you want, I consider that one vote towards starting a map that is, already pre-existing. If you'd like that. Yeah, it definitely needs to be a bigger Lenin too. Yeah. It's Lenin. Look at the size of the stars. If we got Lenin here, he's not even proportional to the other things, let alone, we would have him this tall, right? So, all right, so I'll go on with what I was thinking. Oh, okay, now we got this built. That cost us $2 million. Yeah, it really doesn't do that much, does it? Oh, it teaches people. Oh, it teaches party officials. Well, that makes some sense. So we definitely don't need 2 of those. Now, one of the things I'd like to plop down, because I've never done it, said that at this point, I don't want to give up on this series until there's sort of some sense of completion. Like, it was going to be that I was going to end it when I got past the challenge, right? Which we really have. This has become a building. So that's why, people say, oh, that's overkill. It's like, well, yeah, but I want it to be kind of a challenging I want it to be where people can say and dream. Like that's how I like to play the games. I'm not just here like a dancing clown, right? This is you guys are watching me and how I would play this game if I wasn't doing YouTube. Now, YouTube affects it because I wouldn't be getting comments from other people if nothing else. And do I do things a little different? Just to try to not, of course, but not, this is it. Like I would be doing the same thing if I were playing. So, is it silly the way I play? Absolutely sometimes. All right, so we have these. Now, what do you guys think? Yeah, the two. Let's see. Would a radio or would a TV station fit? Where would a TV station fit? Well, it would fit, but I kind of like the. Can't build due to infrastructure. Okay, let's get rid of this. I just kind of want to. I like the look of the TV station. I think it looks cool, right? Like I'm thinking about 4 of them, but you know what? Let me put up a road first because we do need to get in and out of here. And now, when I did the real thing, let me put on my wireframe real quick so I can make it look semi-straight anyway. So maybe we would have like roads that would come out like just this way. Yeah, exactly. Some kind of a, I don't know, marker in the sand that we would. And by the way, that could just be that Revergrad is built. From what I understand, and I haven't even looked into it, I probably should have, is they were talking about the automotive manufacturing. Is that shoved in with something else? I haven't seen it anywhere. Various industry. So, like, one thing for me would definitely be becoming self-sufficient. And I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So, we're in the real map. We're just so you know, we're at episode like 60 some now. And we're still not actually self-sufficient, which we will be pretty shortly here. So, at some point, are they going to come up with a map breaking kind of thing? Yeah, and then you know what? Let's do. I got an idea. Get rid of that building too. I don't know what's behind me. But I'm going to come from like. No, there's still a railroad track there. What do you guys think of that? Like as a general, so these would be roads coming in and out of there into our beautiful central area. Hey, Pietro, how are you doing today? Glad you could make it. We are in the process of sort of deciding what we would do with Revergrad, and I think if there's any consensus, the middle should be about the Soviet. And so this is, I just plopped down like 2 party headquarters, even though it's a bunch of overkill. And then I was thinking about plopping down at least a radio station. Yes, it was not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. And yeah, it will probably be next Saturday as well. I don't have anything planned that would take me away from it. All right, so what am I doing? I'm coming here. As much as anything, you know, what if we put like, and see, this is where it would be nice to have, it would be nice to have options on these buildings. And I was thinking of like turning it around the other way and putting it here, right? Getting rid of that just so that I can put this in. And some of it is just, by the way, sometimes I do this stuff like off camera, so to speak. Can't build due to, because I left the tiniest little bits. Let's get rid of the bits. There we go. Now I know this, when I do it for real, I'll line it up a little nicer and level things out. I'll probably take this whole entire area and make it like I don't want to say perfectly level, but pretty close, you know. Well, let me know your thoughts. By the way, Pietro and anyone else who's watching, this is just all play, right? Like I'm only here to get ideas. This is not the official map. Like this is actually today's map. So anybody who's watched today's episodes I actually recorded a little bit ahead. And you know what? I want to build one of these things just to see what it does and what it looks like. So there we go. When we run out of money, we won't be able to do that anymore. But now, what would we be able to put? Like, here's the next thing I'm thinking. Well, how about the universities? Right? If we come here and say we would put, oh, look at that. Ooh, I'm kind of liking this. Well, the road connection comes out this way. What if we put and then we put a medical university? I can't really, I'm getting too far away. Let me, like there and there, right? So we got medical university, technical university, two-party headquarters, because we'll have many members of the KGB out there watching people, right? And then we would have two TV stations just because they look cool. Boy, that takes a long time for those to build. I'm sure that's going to be, when you're sending dump trucks up there to do this, that's going to be a lot of concrete and stuff, isn't it? We will, yes. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm still thinking of 6 radio stations. One to broadcast each of the different types. Like if we come on here, close your eyes, guys, if you haven't played the map. I don't want you to see anything you don't want. But I think you probably have gotten up to, there's a few people here, by the way, guys, that are still catching up on the series. So I'm going to try to be, I don't want to give them too many spoilers. But there's 6, I know we already have this one radio station, but there's 6 different things that we can broadcast out of here. Like, in other words, we can tell them don't drink alcohol. Like, we can tell them, be enthusiastic about sports. And I'm wondering, or do we don't necessarily need 6, but okay, close your eyes again so you don't see anything that you don't want. So what about if we did like just 4? And by the way, the radio station, like this is grand beyond what you would ever consider grand, to the point that you look at me like I have a little bit of a hole in my head. If that makes sense, so like what I'm thinking of is, okay, what infrastructure? Oh, you know what? It's a shame we can't. Shame they don't have like mirrored versions of a lot of buildings for a few reasons. I think you could. For one, is just when it comes to like getting things connected, it would be great if they had like mirrored, like where you could just click a button and it would like flip the building. Like I've played games, building games like this that have something like that, maybe you guys have too. Like Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of liking 4 radio stations at this exact moment. So if you're laughing at me, good. That's my intention. Yeah, okay, that one wasn't in the way. And then again, and all of this stuff is absolutely. Yeah, see, I'd put this opening part, even though it doesn't make total sense, and these aren't. Oops, okay, level if you want to level. I'm just trying to get an idea. If I walk away with an idea of what will fit, like sometimes if you watched the videos and you see that like everything just falls into place, it's because I've probably done something along these lines before I started recording. You know, like I didn't work all the details out, but I just went into the map and sort of, you know, said, yeah, you know what, it'll fit. I bet you I can make it work, kind of thing, you know. There we go. How about I'd settle for just 4 radio stations. You know, what do you think of that idea? And then I don't see what else we would build. Well, we would need, like hospital to me, I consider that like a normal thing they need. Not though they are pretty big. No, they're not big. I'm just trying to get all the big buildings in. Yeah. And for today's episode, so I'm not worried about where we're going to place hospitals and houses specifically, but so we've got all of these, you know, as far as university residence halls and whatnot, I would picture, you know, maybe down the road we'd put them, you know, someplace close to the university here. And I don't know, do the party headquarters, do they get people out of technical university residences? So that's really, to me, got all of the main buildings that the game provides, right? Just delete this old track. And then show you what... Now, this was one of Radomir's suggestions. Oops. Yeah, let's get rid of any of the track that was there before. And this, right? Actually, I don't mind that one piece of track. Take it back a little bit. So what I'm picturing now is... Thank you, Radomir. Yeah, I think the trains, they need waypoints. I've played a lot of... I was probably, like, you know, you guys have hinted around about your ages. I mean, I was playing train games before you guys were built. Or built. I hope you weren't built. Before you guys were born, you know? Where are you? Okay, let's delete this a little bit so we can level it a bit. Like, so in other words, it's like, and waypoints to control where the trains go. The other thing that I didn't realize, and you'll see, is that I think one of my train problems was, oops, I think I need to be out here a little bit more. One of my, yeah, see, that's a building right there. So we would probably should put on the wireframe, huh? Yeah, I don't like modernist architecture. I like the way they used to build things, you know? Get rid of that. But anyway, yeah, the trains, I think you're always going to have problems in this this game, to be honest, with the trains. But they're working on it. Hey, it's early access, and these, you know, for every complaint I have, there's 30 things I like, you know? So it's not like it's any way, shape, or form a bad game. So let's just, and again, this is all a little bit... What don't you like there? The end of the road. Yeah, let me put my little roads back that I deleted. Okay, I didn't delete those. So then what I'm thinking of is, yeah, that should work like that, right? Okay, getting too close to the building. Again, this is just a concept. You don't want to do that? Okay. Let's get rid of this. All right, so even though that's kind of lopsided, it could be a lot straighter. And then maybe we make this like into a loop, or either that or we would double track it. That's the kind of detail that we can work out during the episodes or over time. Yep, Chuck, you're I spent my single digit years, my teen years, I was an 80s kid. Almost all of my single digit years were in the 70s. All right, so let's see. We're going to have trains coming in this way, right? So we would eventually want, yeah, again, conceptual here. Can you not go that way? Yeah, the game's leveling mechanics are a little weird in some ways. Like you would think it would, like you can get that to level itself. And actually I kind of want to lower, don't I? Yeah, see if I just do that little lower, now I'll be able to, that's not exactly what we would do, but. So how long have you been playing video games, Chuck? Pietro, yes. We're not going to do it today because this is just about getting some ideas from this. But yes, I have not forgotten you. And we also have a few people here who have not watched the entire series. They're not caught up like you. And I just as soon not give them too many spoilers as to what we're doing. But we are getting close, let's put it this way, to working over in that direction. In that I'm going away for another 2 days. You guys wouldn't have known it other than I might not respond to too many comments. What do you call it? But yes, absolutely. We'll be getting into a new steel and the coal and the new power plants. And I think I kind of want to get the new power plants going after I've already done Tuesday's episode. So like, in light of kind of getting this started to be worked on and designed, one of the next things right after that will be better steel. And not even so much better steel, but better coal, power. And then after we have the coal, the steel. Just because I think it makes the most sense to get the coal going. And if we get the coal going, why don't we get the new power plants going? I'm a little bit worried about how much coal we have over there to run a bunch of power plants and the steel, but we can get into that too. So, but yes, to answer your question, but not today. Yeah, Transport Fever's trains are definitely different and much more controllable. Like where you can set, and other games too, like you would set a route, like, but it really doesn't take that much. Just a waypoint's just a flag that kind of acts like a station that they don't stop at, so that you could, because in this game they do like goofy stuff. I mean, I'm sure they're doing it for a reason. Computers don't do things randomly, right? So, yeah, Pong. I played Pong when I was like 6 years old, and my neighbor burnt their TV because they like played Pong so long that it permanently left lines in your TV, because all it did was it was like two bars that went up and down. It was I don't know if you ever saw Pong, but like it had these two bars and you knocked the ball back and forth. Well, they burnt like the border lines and the lines of the where the things went up and down like into the TV tube. So when you were watching like Gilligan's Island or some other show that was out at the time, like it would be like lighter colored in those areas. Like so anyway, yeah, Pong, I remember that. That was like the first video game, I think. Yeah, I would have to. I don't know if it was the first video game I ever played because there were some arcade games. You got to remember, I was like 6, and it wasn't something we had in our house. So it was, I might have played an arcade game, but even then, the arcade games were like not what they are today. Asteroids, Pac-Man came out when I was like 9 or 10, I think. Good, Shunter. Glad you caught up. I hope you enjoyed it. What is a semaphone? Oh, semaphore. No, I don't think you can select a train and tell it to go to that semaphore, can you? Like that would be what you'd have to be able to do. Let's track down one of our trains. There you go. See, Chuck, if you're interested in spoilers, I'm not sure where you're at, but see, the problem is if you go to this train, see, you can't pick a semaphore. See what I mean? Like you'd have to be able to select it and add it to one of those. Look, by the way, there's the problem that I'm having. And I figured it out, so I don't think I mentioned it, so I'm not going to give you the answer today. How's that? You'll have to watch the next episodes. But I did in the last couple episodes think I figured out why this guy's coming up here. Like, this is one of our corn trains, like, and the corn train is just supposed to be going back all the way over by our corn town here, and then he goes over to Revergrad, and that's it. Like, well, he's just exporting stuff. So then he goes up to Molna up there and export stuff. So anyway, yeah. Well. See, it happened to the O'Connors, and once they like, cause all the people back, like, it's not like today's day and age, and I'm not sure how it is where you guys live, but in America, a lot of people just don't go out, and they're not so neighborly anymore. Like, I'm lucky because I'm still in the house I grew up in, so I've known these same neighbors for a lot of years. But yeah, like once word got out that the O'Connors TV got burnt, nobody had. That was it. Like that was the end of Pong. Like Mr. O'Connor was all pissed off, and he went and got a new TV, and then they're like threw the darn Pong thing in the trash. No, that's not true. They were allowed to play it, but it was like the old TV was like up in one of the kids' bedrooms, But anyway, like it was, that was a whole big deal. Like nobody else got Pong after that. And then the problem was like when Atari came out, like none of the parents really, like all of the parents were worried about the Atari burning images in your TV as well. So, but the Atari was different because like the scenes changed enough that it didn't do the same thing. Like, yeah, Pac-Man came out like in the like what 78 or 79. I don't know the year, but I'm just going from my own because like we used to have a bowling alley that was near my house, and they had like 5 or 6 video games, and I remember going up there with like 5 quarters or something that I scrounged from around the house to go play a video game for the first time. And then there'd always be these kids that could like flip the game, they called it, where you would, I don't know, like Asteroids score may have gone up to like 1 million or something, and these kids would just sit on there and be able to play Pac-Man or Asteroids until they like flipped the game, and then it became like this. Oh, did you hear? So, these were all like the older teenagers, and I'm like an 8-year-old. These older teenagers were like, "Oh, Joe flipped the game 12 times or something," which meant he had to sit there for like, I don't know, like from the time the place opened to the time it closed, to like flip it that many times. Yeah, that's a shame, Pietro. About your Yeah, I never had the 2600. I had the original Atari, And then we actually got a PC. Like, we were one of the first people I know to actually get a PC because my dad, worked at a company that they would pay for half of it if he bought an original IBM PC. So I'm like one of the original PC gamers, I say, because there was a few games that came out for that not too long. There was like a sub game where you could go, yeah, nothing like today's games, and another one, Decathlon, I remember. My buddy has a phone problem when it gets rainy and windy. All right, well, anyway. Well, so this, in my opinion, is probably enough of this to give me a good start. And if I could get your guys, I love telling video game stories, but just for a minute, what do you guys think of this concept? Is this, don't be afraid to tell me you think it's not very good. Um, again, subject to a little change, but like the overall concept and the location, and we'd have train lines coming in and out. Now we might have more train lines and stuff. Like what I would picture is like population up over here, and then maybe like kind of houses and maybe hospitals or shopping centers, but a lot more like if we had shopping centers and hospitals here, like people would generally be moved by train to get in and out of those places, or bus. I mean, I guess it would depend on. And then what I'm really wondering is when it comes to these other areas that we have, like Electrical Town, do we just get rid of Electrical Town and bus people that far? Or is that too far to reliably, or train them, out here? Is that too far to go for this, right? So, I mean, at first we just have just a massive amount of work that I just suggested, I mean, but then again, much like doing the tunnels, we'll just set some guys up here. They'll just keep running back and forth, and I'll just keep clicking on the next one, and we'll have whole new construction crews off in some other area doing, I'll just keep you guys updated as it grows and grows. But what do you think? I could picture houses down this end in particular, or again, maybe shopping centers down here, and then houses all along both sides. And then we could take, if we put like a whole string, here's just some thinking out loud. If we put a whole string of like train stops wherever they are, I can't really put them in there, but like say we made it a double track or whatever, but then we could have like a whole, like, I keep, you know what I mean? Like we could have a whole series of train stops here, and maybe it would be like 2 one-ways coming in, right? And then a whole series here where we could then like select, and not like maybe this many, but you're getting the idea. Maybe even one here, right? And then like the people that lived up in here, like all of the ones we would send to here for work, this would be like a work stop. And then we would send them over to Electrical City. And then the people that came here would be for shopping, say. So you might end up with like 2 stops pretty close. Now, I don't know how jammed up that would get if you tried to do them all in line. It'd probably become a bit of a mess. But maybe we can have a decent way of getting them in and out of each stop, right? Make them far enough away from each other that they wouldn't. But we'll see. And then at the same time, we could do some stuff with bus stops if we wanted to. Maybe bus stops on the outside. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Like we have sort of a train system in the middle that could also, like this might be where we drop off a lot of people to the shopping area right here. Or maybe we'd even have the shopping areas here and let the trains feed them people, have stops this way. Well, will they work there if they are driven by the train? Because just to give you guys an idea, like they will, at least when it comes to travel, they were traveling to work here, and they probably had another hour's worth of travel. They were at about like 2.5 or 3 hours. and they were traveling from all the way over here at this bus stop. So they were going, what's that, one monitor? I mean, they were going a further distance to work for the construction areas anyway. Well, Radomir, you're never too late in this episode because this is not what we're actually going to build. I'm gonna save the map just so I can go back and maybe refer to it versus watching the video. But just in case I have questions about what we talked about. But at the same time, this is not the current map. Like if you were to watch the last episode I recorded, which is Tuesday's episode, you won't get any spoilers about Tuesday's episode because I actually went back and got the map saved from this morning and saved a whole completely new copy of it. So this all gets deleted when we're done talking about it. So you think it's too big, Pietro? Yes, we could. Yeah, we could talk about the details of how the train. Like you can see, I just plopped these down here when it comes to the train. But yes, we could have it. I think again, it could be all a big experiment that might fail if we tried to put all these in a line without coming in and out right. There you go. Good idea with the worker trains in the different directions. I'm just checking up, or let me read through a bunch of the chats here for a second. Hello, Nee, and welcome. I know Nee is, I don't want to say she's a minimalist. Oh, there goes a really loud car. I hope you guys can't hear that. I don't know why people put such loud mufflers on their cars. I have a traffic light near my house, and some people feel they need to break a land speed record when the light turns green. But in any event, yeah, Nee is not fully appreciative of my overkilling. But guess what? We kind of almost are just going to go with four of them. Yes, we are 2 weeks. Yes, the map is 2 weeks, and this is none of what we have here is going to stay, though this will be a general guideline for what we do, right? Like it doesn't, I have two TV stations in there. I actually built one because I had never built one, so we could, if you think, just looking at this, we could go with 6 TV stations and 6 radio stations. What do you think of that idea? But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they do the same thing, don't they? So even though we don't have 6 radio stations, we only have 4. There's like 4, like on each end. Um, we could make up for that fact because we have the 2 TV stations. What do you think? All right, let's go ahead. I just want to see the way it looks before we switch topics and start talking about what we want to do in a new map and the next live stream. Like we can get it started today maybe, but with an hour and a half left, we can at least decide on what we're going to do. So before we quit this map, and it'll take a little while for all this stuff to go anyhow. That way you guys can see. And you haven't been here for all the conversation, so it would be, and anybody else who just joined us, it would be hard for you to picture what the wondrousness of what we decided to create. So we sort of started with this. I made a box that was sort of defining like the overall area. So this outskirts area, if you can see that, all around this white railroad track would be where we put our people and shopping and hospitals and everything else people need. But the center area would be, to show off our grandness of our thing. And then we'll put some trees in here too, because Radomir thought we should have a statue of Lenin. Now, the poor little statue of Lenin, we'd need a bigger statue of Lenin. So hopefully one day there's modding, because I'm sure that some person who's better at modding than me could just blow that statue up so it's like worthy of Lenin, right? But I don't know what's worthy of Lenin anyway, but we won't get into that. But yeah, we'll put in some acacia trees here, and maybe some footpaths and such, Look at that. They also have a nice area effect tool for the trees. And I don't think I would do the area effect. We would have it nice and groomed and, like perfectly laid out walkways around here and just kind of laying out the concept. So then we'd have our Soviet stars. None of this being exactly with our communist headquarters buildings. You can see it coming together as we're spending all of the money we have on the map. That's no problem to you. If you have an opinion about it, that's fine too. No pressure. But before we change subjects, I thought we could, hopefully we don't run out of money. I think we're going to run out of money. There's no real way to cheat money in that I'm aware of. Not that I would do that, but yeah, we just spent 30 some million or close to it. Yeah, so what did this one stop building? Yeah, I think that gives us a little bit better idea, doesn't it? It's still moving. Yeah, it's just taking a while. They're just a little bit slower building than... Yeah, that one's not. That's all right. We already know what the TV station looks like. Well, we kind of know what the radio station looks like, too. Again, just extravagant showing of our... I'm not even sure how to word it. It's taking the words. It's so breathtaking to me. There's no words to describe how wonderful this would be. Yeah, the tree shotgun. Yeah, that's nice. I do use the experimental version, just so you guys know. I switched to it because I was having some particular issue, and then I just never went over to Steam and switched back. And I figure that's not too bad, because sometimes when I'm ahead on the videos, it's like the comments weren't matching up. Like people were giving me comments like, why don't you use this? And it's like, well, because I recorded that episode 2 days ago and they didn't have that at the time. So at least this way I'm not behind the times with the videos kind of thing. There, so how's that for, and again, this is not, like we just did this. If you guys are, generally think it's a good idea, that's cool. I'll start plopping down some things and spacing some things out. It'll, in light of the series, like, we don't even have this construction thing built yet, or, so we're really not even here to where we could do this. So I wanted to get ahead of your guys' comments. And just so you know, that's in part for you, so that this is all coming, next week in the episodes kind of thing. You guys have time to think about it and make more suggestions, and I'll start laying it out, during the regular series. But this will be the overall picture, and whether we build all these things immediately, but we'll leave the spaces and start getting some of the housing in. So that way, because we could actually use maybe some extra construction people. This is a massive project, So it's not like this will happen in the regular series very quickly, Yeah, I don't. Um, we could use up some bricks deliberately. We don't have any money. We just kind of, I just kind of ruined our money. We should probably let's pause the construction. I don't know what happens if you run out of money. I mean, we're pretty self-sufficient. We can't get any electrical components, but let's cancel this. Our money should start going back up, but I don't know how quickly. Let's put it this way, Nee. I mean, I've played up until this morning. I made another episode, Tuesday's episode, actually. I'm going away for another couple days. So I'm 3 episodes ahead right now. That way I don't have to worry about racing back Monday night and trying to make an episode first thing in the morning on Tuesday and all that. So, and I haven't had any problems. I mean, I see this rail guy could go pretty quickly if we could. Here, let's try to build something for you before we end the map. Yeah, you guys have seen the new bridges. Now, let's get rid of this bridge for a second, and we can build a. Let's build a brick bridge. Well, let me build. Yeah. All right, and then let's just get. These guys are. Yeah, these. I don't know, they have a lot of mixers. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's kind of an issue when you switch bridge types. These guys have a lot of open halls, so we'll assign them to. Oops, need to. There you go. So that, do they need bricks immediately? No, of course not. Here, let's put the time on fast forward. There. So, okay, so let me read some more comments. Yeah, the tree gun with the radius is nice. Reading through the comments. Well, yeah, if communist always ends when the dictator of the country gets too powerful, which is the biggest problem with socialism. It's not that socialism in itself is a bad idea, that everybody has an equal share and all that. It's, obviously capitalism has its list of issues too, but it's the problem is you put all that money in my hand. You think I'm not going to spend it on my own glorious town dedicated? Like if I could make a statue of Rever here, it would be a statue of Rever. That's the problem. You think, those communist leaders end up poor, Anyway, so yeah, we're going to build this brick. So let's see, does our train? We should be going to get bricks. Now, when you say get bricks into the railroad construction office, that wasn't going to answer your question, was it? You know what? I don't know. Let's. We've got a little traffic jam anyway, don't we? All right, let's slow that down. Let's cancel these guys just so our gravel train gets out of the road. And yeah, you know what? That wasn't going to answer your question. So let's come here and destroy. Let's destroy these. And then we'll just put up some kind of a railroad construction, you said, and I didn't pay that much. Oh wait, what do we build with bricks? Doesn't a bridge? No, a bridge doesn't need bricks. What needs bricks? Is it this kind of track? No. I know there was something that we needed bricks for. A tunnel? All those other things aren't built with the rail. It has to be. Yeah, it's not that. Is it a railway bridge? Yeah, okay, there you go. Look, okay, so let's see. Let's assign this guy to work on the railroad bridge. I can't say I've built a railroad bridge since then. So let's put this other railroad bridge back up just to speed up our little experiment. right? And then let's speed time forward again. All right, so we can leave this off to the side. Okay, so now, well, we're going to get a little experiment, and whether I'm almost certain we can put them in there because like I said, I've played quite a bit in the last few days, and I mean, I'm not sure exactly when the update was, but I mean, I haven't had any problems, and I know I would have had problems because I've built like a lot of this stuff, and these things I think. Yeah, so these need 143 tons of bricks, and we've built these and didn't have any problem. Yeah, look, we got this whole thing's getting improved, by the way. Yeah, and really, this I haven't fixed for this thing up here in the next episode, so I was telling other people, or I probably told all of you guys already. Let's just get rid of that before it causes a problem. And then, did one of the trains make it out? No, of course not. Let's let those two go by. And then we'll send our construction trains out. There we go. So that should cause some bricks to get used. No, I don't think, I mean, it actually wouldn't. I mean, the biggest thing with the modding, I mean, this game, you know, I'm a programmer, so I know that the way they've done this video game, you would be able to go in there and absolutely change the way this building looked. You could absolutely change any of the buildings, any of the cars. You could create new vehicles. The biggest issue is how, like right now, you can only hijack what's already there. So like, as far as I know, there's no way for you to add another button here, right? But you could go and change like the school to look different. You could change the Lenin statue, but you couldn't necessarily, it would still, and you might even be able to change the description, I'm not sure, but you could make it look like Rever, but then you wouldn't have a Lenin statue. Like, in other words, or you would even still be called the Lenin statue, but it would look like me. So they need to add that like next step where it recognizes all the different things and adds buttons and stuff. But they've definitely made the game in a way that there should be modding in the future, or certainly could be. All right, there we go. So we have bricks. There goes our brick truck. Is that the brick truck for... Yeah, that is the rail construction. No, that's just a different brick truck. How about that one? That's the guys going to the road over there. Well, let's see. Where are all of our trucks? Do I even have covered cistern? No, so I don't have a truck. No, I have to have a truck. It's in here. Not that one. Alright, well, how many bricks do we have left in here? Oh, look, now you're right, Nee. See, I haven't built any railroad bridge. Oh, no, I've been building a railroad bridge, I thought. Yeah, well, it's certainly not getting any directly out of there, is it? So let's do this. And just tell them to go directly there, right? Not load, unload. No, he didn't put any bricks in there. The problem is we would need an artist to make like the artwork to give it glory. Because trust me, if I tried to make my own statue... Look, the bricks went in. But only a few. Do you see that? Me? But by the way, here's another thing to say. This is a problem. This is definitely a problem with this game. And this might be your problem now that I'm thinking about it. Notice how they dumped back extra steel in and it's saying limit to 25%. Right? Well, you're over 25%. So, like when he went in and out, look, he could only take 6 tons. Like, in other words, we actually have to send them to go do a job that takes the other things, if that makes sense. Like, let's cancel. What, do they not have people? That's another problem. I need to put another bus on this because they run out of workers. Like, and I did, not to give you guys a spoiler, but. Oh, good night, Pietro. Thank you for stopping by. I definitely appreciate the participation. So yeah, take care. But here's the thing. Like, if let's open this back up and yeah, see, I knew that was going to cause a problem. Yeah, we really have too much going on. And by the way, in the real series, that's one of the reasons I didn't work on this. So let's come here and cancel this guy. See, they're not using bricks. They're using the other stuff. But if we assign another construction that's going to use up some of those other materials, like this guy will take more materials out of there. And look, next time the brick truck comes through, he's going to put more in. So see how our steel panels, our steel and our panels went down? When the brick truck comes back, he should be able to fill up more. See that? Now we're going to get the 14 tons of brick. Is that the problem? Yeah, that would be real cool, the channel logo. So yeah, I got bricks in and out, Nee. It was a matter of they're a pain in the butt because you don't use them that much. And I remember even now that you're saying all that, I remember having a problem with this guy. And I had that same exact problem. As a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons whenever you build these stations, make sure it's on limit the amount, because it will very quickly be a real mess. But when you cancel jobs, they just dump whatever stuff, and if you cancel, yeah, that could be it. I hope that helps. But now they are dropping off bricks now. Just so you know. Even though it doesn't look like he is because he's... running around like a madman. Does that make sense? Okay. So we can keep an eye on that. When we hear from Nee, we'll know. That looks dumb, doesn't it? Anyway. So, I think we're done talking about this, unless you guys have any final words. No, don't be sorry, Nee. I'm glad to help. Do you think that was the issue that you were having, though? Like, because I know I've experienced that. Maybe not even with the bricks. It might have been the boards. I'm forgetting right now. It was a while ago, but it might. Keep an eye out for that. And I am on the whatever the latest experimental version or whatever he calls it. I'm not on the live version, so maybe if you jump to that, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway. Look, we're really not doing very well with our money, are we? All right, let's stop this. So do you guys have any last minute thoughts on this? I'm going to pause and take a slight break. And then when we come back, why don't we talk about with the last hour and maybe even get started on another map for the live stream or whatever we want to do. We can go back to the old map from 2 weeks ago's live stream and continue there. We can Seb, who I don't haven't heard from in a while. I don't know if he's still here watching, but he suggested that we try to, revamp a map with existing towns and whatnot on it, or we can just start, a whole clean map. Let me know what you guys think, and we can go from there. Well, that's odd, Nee. I don't know. I don't know what to do to help you. But let me take a like 30-second break, and if you guys don't have any more suggestions on this, and by the way, I'm going to read any suggestions you leave tied to this video, or like I said, this is not going to happen before, like, say, Thursday or Friday's episode. So we have plenty of time to discuss it even further. I thought this would be a good thing to do with a live stream to get some feedback and forth. Okay, I'm back, but I'm going to start reading the chats if there were a few. All right, so we have go with the flow. We have populated area, setting some basic plans. Nee votes for a populated map with very, very, very few people, I'm assuming. With some set date. I'm not sure what you mean with some set date, Radomir. All right, Surge would like a new empty map. Minimalistic people. Okay. People imports prohibited on a populated map. Yeah, that definitely, after we decide which kind of map, then I actually literally have a piece of paper here that I've been sitting next to for quite a while, ready to write down some new rules. So now, Serge, you're getting outvoted here. And at this point, if you haven't watched the live streams before, we are democracy. So, um, well, yeah, we could do a straw poll. I mean, it's at this point, reading through the chats. I don't think there's that many of us, but there's like 10 people. And by the way, one of them's probably like the thing I have open. So there's like 9 of us or so. to vote. So it's not like we have some massive group of people. I know we didn't see Steve today. He might be away on vacation or something for the holiday. But it's okay. I mean, I'm sure whatever we do, we're going to make it fun. We're going to learn some stuff. It's all good. It's not going to make a great difference. And I hope no one's upset with the outcome, no matter what it is, right? It's just not up to me this time. Like I started the last live stream, and I'd just like to do it as a group, whatever we can kind of come to. So yeah, if you guys want to all start typing in something, that's okay with me. I mean, you kind of have and I don't even know if everybody who's watching wants to vote, but you really have straw hats? I've seen yeah, I guess my neighbor, you know what? My neighbor cuts the grass with something like I don't know if it's made of straw or not, but yeah, and by the way, I don't mind the idea either way. I think that a new empty map, we kind of already did an empty map. And I think we did a pretty darn hard start. I don't know if the hard start would be the goal of it or not, but we kind of already did the hard start part of that. So is that okay with you, Serge? And Chuck, you said you would go with the flow, but if we started a map that is already populated, and then why don't we head in that direction? So I'm gonna just save as just something so I have it so I can go back and refer to what we did just in case. I don't know that I will, but why not make a save, right? Live stream after. Oop. They don't like you typing fast in this game. There you go. All right, so that's saved. And we can exit. And then let's get over to the new game category. Yes. Well, what I mean is where we start with the rules too, but yes, you're absolutely right. So let's come to here, and then how many people are we going to limit? We talked about the starting population. I don't know how to make that 200, and I've never, by the way, never done a populated map before, so. We can only do, I mean, is that 400? I don't know. Now, the only thing, and by the way, I don't know if you guys follow the Steam forums, debating, you could call it, with people about the fact that the leveling tool should be a setting in here. Like, how powerful is the setting tool? And if you hit hard, then you shouldn't be able to level very much. And people were arguing against me, saying that that's making the tool harder or making the tool less powerful is not a setting. And the one guy said it's like if they made the screen darker, it's not a setting. And I didn't respond to him, but look, it is. If you hit hard here, it enables the day-night cycle because it's harder when it's dark. But anyway, I will disable that for the sake of YouTube. That would be the one thing that makes it a custom. Now, I also noticed, by the way, the starting year, it doesn't actually change. Like if we change this back to easy and then this back to hard, like it puts the day-night cycle on. But if you change the year to 1960, that's not one of the settings that actually changes at that point. Hey, Connor. Welcome. And yes, low population, so I got it on the lowest I can get it right now. Hard start part. Yeah, for me, the hard start part, to be honest, is where you start on the map. Like, of course, this makes it harder. There's no doubt. I mean, less money, unsatisfied citizens. There's no doubt that that's that's harder. But also, if you're on a blank map, and I'm not sure how this experience is going to be, but if you're on a blank map, if you start far away from a Soviet port, that makes it a lot harder. That makes it a lot harder. No matter how you start this, that also adds like a whole level of hardness. So is there a solution? Is there a Yeah, well, no people imports would be like an added rule, right? There's no selection here for. So are we happy with this screen? Hello, Monica. Yes, I am the Stalin. I am the Stalin of this. Well, this live stream, I try not to act like Stalin, to be quite honest. This is Rever's friendly socialist democracy when it comes to the live stream. But yeah, so on the other map, on the regular series, I am the supreme overlord of the land. Well, I've thought about the building with money more since I mean, it's been quite a while since I started that live stream map, like the original concept of it. And starting with money is kind of its own punishment in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to a challenge and you're starting on the hard settings, like you could build everything you want with the thing, but you're going to pay more, and I think you're going to lose because you pay more. So yes, I think we're going to I don't know if we need a rule. I don't mind if we make another rule, like only 3 months or something like that. Um, some things you just have to pay for with money to get started. And I don't know if we should necessarily limit it, because I think if it's hard enough, you're not going to want to do that anyhow. Like, at least that was my experience or thought with the last map. Okay. Well, Monica, I'm trying to, get everybody's opinions, and there's a little bit of delay on the chat. So, are we ready to hit the start? I did ask that question. So, okay, everybody happy with these settings? They're pretty much the hardest. Start on 1960, right? Nobody really said anything. And then, like I said, I'll just disable the day-night cycle, but only, yeah, I guess it's a little harder, but it's for the videos, I think, when I've watched, I think Colonel Failure does the videos, and he doesn't actually disable that, and it's kind of just hard to see what he's doing. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to hit the start button. We can always restart if we have to. And as soon as we get in there, we'll hit the pause button. All right. Now, how many people? Let's take a look at our population statistics. Okay, so you start off with 2,000 people. You have a little town here with their church, nothing else. Let me know what you guys, if you've started with this and think you have a good idea where we should start and what we should do. Of course, if we start up here, and this doesn't have to be the hard start part, where we're close to a town. I would think, though, that we definitely need to consider where we start. Okay, so they have different names. This isn't called Molna. But we should definitely consider starting someplace. Do we start at a place that's somewhat close to this type, where we got the road and the rail and the power? Bongjiville, or I don't know how you say that, but there's another one of them here. If we start near a Soviet, that's going to make it a lot easier. see what else we have over here. Now this already has, this is like a big one. It doesn't have any power near it, but you've got some kind of a road already coming over. Where does this road go? Yeah, so this one has power, so we definitely would have, you know, pretty big advantage with the fact that we already have roads over in this corner. Let me catch up on the chats for a second. Yes, we can definitely start somewhere in the middle. Now, do we start? Let's see, where is the middle? I do know where that is once I orient myself. Darn clouds are kind of an issue. So the middle of the map is like in this area. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, so we could start really kind of anywhere. And this would be more or less the middle. Now let me do one thing just so that I can, even though it probably doesn't matter, but I'm just going to save it. Oops, sorry, hit my microphone. Oops. There, just so we can always come back to this exact moment in life. All right, so where's LaCorn? It seems to me that I'm not sure if the towns have the same name on every map, just because, like, I know that wasn't the, this is where Revergrad is, and I know that wasn't, even before I named it in Portska, that wasn't the name of the town. And this is, on our map, this is Molna, and it's not named Molna anymore. LaCorna. And just when I did a little measuring in the past, you know, whereas like this was about the middle of the map in this area, which is why we started here. And so see, I don't know, it's hard to show you guys these town names. Maybe if I click on it, like this is Inetsika. This is Lysau. Lona, is that what you meant? This is about where we, this is where the old Rever, or the, you know, the last live stream, this is where we started. But I don't see a town. There's Lesicki, but I definitely don't think that's necessarily the middle. I mean, it's not far. It's a fine place to start. Certainly one of the bigger towns there. I mean, we could definitely start with that's a pretty big town, and Topa is not a very big town. These are, you know, this is a decent size crossing the river there. It's kind of cool. I don't see anything behind us. Yeah, so me, I think the names have changed on you. All right. What do you guys think? Is this... What do you think of starting right here? We have some room to do some things. Boy, you talk about getting rid of Getting rid of all the churches. We have a cathedral in this town. Okay. I have no problem with getting going. Is this, is everybody else okay with starting here? And Zeka. Where was Nzeka? Oh, here. Yeah. What's it called? ELNICZA. You mean the one that's like right on the river bend here? All right. I'm going to assume that this is okay with you too, Radomir. I'm not sure. You can always build up towards that other big town. I would think that would be smart, right? Look, I want to name it Revergrad. Good. If nothing else, we know Streamingrad is stream. It should be two G's. Streamin. So it becomes like Streamingrad, which is fine. Yes. So now all of these people are going to need stuff, right? Like how do you? Okay, we only have 12. So how do you? Again, I've never played on one of these kind of maps. I mean, it seems like, we're going to have to build a bunch of shopping centers and whatnot, right? And we're going to have to build firehouses. Do you have to just go around and build them in every place? Like, or else just people are going to be leaving towns left and right, right? So you're saying start over here. Now, is that what happens with these towns? Is that just everybody leaves, or do they stay content enough that they stay, if you guys know? If you don't, that's okay too. We'll just do what we got to do. So you're saying we should go to this town across the river, right? That's not how you spell cross. How's that? So you're saying we should start it across the river. Now we could kind of do, well, yeah, I don't know how much money we're going to have for building too many bridges. So the only thing about starting across the river is that we're going to need to get to some town, and we need to build bridge. Well, I guess we have roads, don't we? It's just a matter of we don't have gas stations. And it's not very flat right here. Not that that matters too much to us. So we're going to need to plop down at least a construction office, huh? So I'm thinking we build a construction office somewhere near the town, because we're just going to want that kind of soon. Now, could anyone answer to... Okay, so we'll steal all the population basically and move them in to wherever we build. I gotcha. And we can build that. So are we going to have a rule against building after 3 months? I think we could. So for the first 3 months, now I'm sure we can be paused as long as we want, which means we could probably take advantage of that. And I'm assuming these houses act just like the other ones. Yeah, so it's not like we can't build there. So let's decide we're going to start here. And then we're going to need to get all the stuff that a construction office needs too, right? So in other words, we're going to need to get a construction office. So let's go ahead and we'll just build a gravel road. I don't want, I'd like to leave it where we could possibly get stuff in and out down this way, but I think we could get a little gravel road off of here. Enough that we can build a construction office. That's not enough that we can build a construction office, but we're going to need a flat spot, huh? Yeah, because until we get this built, we can't level anything. So that's the only reason that I want to. I can't really see. Is that already connected? Yeah, I don't mind if it's already connected. All right, so there we go. So we got a construction office, and every construction office, the first thing I always build, just so I don't forget, is every construction office needs a gas station. And before we can even do that, let's go ahead and, I guess it doesn't matter too much. I mean, we might as well use up our dollars, right? Because we can't buy vehicles with we can't buy many of the vehicles with that. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm caught up on the chats. Yeah, so this little town, we would just have a little thing here. So now I built that just so we could, let's see what we can get with dollars. Not very much. So we're going to at least need to get ourselves an excavator. And my life is too short for 200 extra rubles not to buy the faster one. Boy, that's not much price difference for what you get, is it? And then we probably should also get a bulldozer, right? Just so we can do some, just so we can place the other buildings. And by the way, I put that down here so that we could, it will service over here as well if we want to get Streamingrad going pretty quickly. All right, so now let's go back to, can we get let's use our leveling tool. Let's just sort of get a gas station in off of this road so that as we do go to manual construction, we can. Now the other question is, it's not really asking me about auto purchase. Why? Oh yeah, no, auto purchase is off for now. That's good. Is the default. All right, there we go. So now we have a gas station. So you're saying that we need to get these people happy, huh? All right, so let's come back over to not educate. Well, we will need education too, right? Now, how many do these houses hold? Very small. All right, so we have to come up with. Yeah, that's a very little village house. I don't think we should necessarily destroy all of these, should we? Though some of these are more in the way than they're doing any good, you know? These are, at least they hold a few. A couple more than a few, right? All right, so let's, yeah, that is a little dirt road. Can we get a regular, I'm going to go back over to roads. I'd like to upgrade this road right here. Can't even, can I not even get rid of, oh, they're attached to the house. Well, guess what, guys? We're going to lose a couple villagers just so I can get, can I even destroy their house? Yeah, these, really, can I not even, I can't destroy it? Demolish property, yes. You can't demolish with some workers are still living there. Relocate. Okay, well, let's. You know what? I don't think I've ever really just tried to. Why don't you go live with that? There we go. All right, so let's play it long enough that that house disappears. And then we can get another proper gravel road there. All right, so now, oops. Well, you can't delete those with the road tool. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so we don't have to worry about everybody else. I got you. Now, can we reattach these houses? Like, you know, they're not. What is attached to that? I mean, that's not a path, is it? No, it's just a little footpath. Okay, well, that explains why I can't delete them the way I wanted to. All right, so let's reattach this road. And we will give you a proper gravel path. How's that sound? All right, even though that... So let's come in here and purchase these things. The only reason I'm not doing it automatically is because then I'm going to forget. For that, I could have probably just clicked on. Alright, so let's build the gas station. It would be nice if there was a complete the road button. Yeah, I'll try to remember to hit the button for complete the task. Alright, so let's get that stuff built. Good. So at least that way we know when we do decide to do construction in the area, we can. So really, in order for this to be effective, we need to get in the stuff, right? So we need to get them the basics of education and all that. Yes. Yeah, it looks like... Well, I guess that's probably has to do with the setting of population, I bet. Like, if you ramped it all the way up, you probably get more in each house. All right, so why do they need a bus stop? Just, I probably want to get one in close anyway, right? So let's see about our... Let's see if we can't level up here. Start kind of talking about extending this road out this way, right? Yeah, I definitely agree. Start with gravel would be good. I'm just going to level out an area. Or at least somewhat. Yeah, we're getting kind of into a mountain. I think we can get them some of what they need over here. As long as... Let's take a look at our electrical tool and see. Yeah, that's 250. I mean, they should walk, you know, over to this far anyway. So certainly a bus stop if that's what we want to do. Small bus platform. You know what? I'm going to spin it around so that the road attaches. Shove it up as close that way as we can. Does that mean the road won't attach, or is it just not? Of course. All right, let's do... I don't see any reason we wouldn't build this road further out straighter. Then we'll auto-complete it. And does that let us now attach? No. All right, let's demolish that. Some of that I blame on the fact that they cover up. like that sign. I wish you could turn those signs off or have it. There you go. Let's move it down this way. And then it just flipped off. Come on. There you go. Okay, good. It will attach. And we'll build that with that. So there you go. So now they have a bus stop. Well, they will after I hit the play button. Catch up with some chats here. All right, so there we go. We got a bus stop. Let me read the chats here for a second. Okay, to answer your question, Chuck, yes, we could use the storage yards to have them deliver. The construction offices don't have any storage connections though. So, like in other words, you can't connect a storage yard to this. But when it comes to like the shopping centers and whatnot, yes, you can. Often you're better off just using a road cargo station though, because the issue with getting a lot of things delivered is often just having enough parking spaces. So if we come over to here, there's other places you can get it, but this road cargo station allows you to park trucks there. So if we were to build a shopping center up in here, you might want to connect some of the things to this, where that gives you 4 extra parking spaces. Okay, so I'm reading Radomir's idea with a cinema and triple combi of village. Yeah, there's always the, now we don't forget we do have the little shopping center nowadays. So if we come back over to people and people pleasing. So we have the small shopping center, which I like quite a bit, just because then we don't have to have the store and the grocery store. So what do we think? Are we going to try to bust them over into like a shopping area, like right here? Because I think I heard Nee saying that she'd like to be over this area. We can kind of be both, and then we can get a bus to get these people's needs met. They're, hardly worth too much more construction over here. So that means we would need another bus stop over here somewhere. I wonder if we could stick one in right there. I don't think it'll fit. Would be kind of nice. And this is just a little, it's just really a little tiny house. I'm sure if we're going to make this work, we'd have to level this a bit. It would be kind of nice if, just not quite. Maybe, see, it wouldn't really work that way. Part of it's because I can't get it level with the buildings already there. Now we could take out one of the little houses. I kind of like that idea. I don't know about you guys, but as long as I can get a road in like here. Or do we put it over this way? It won't really fit. Could get rid of this little house. Oh, okay. Well, I'm okay with the needs kicking in. I mean, I don't know what our goal is here yet. It's our goal, not just mine. The question is, do we build? I mean, do we build the needs here? I mean, it doesn't matter to me how we get started. At some point, we need to do something, right? Um, I don't know that it's a problem that the needs kick in here, other than, yeah, I don't know if they're going to travel all the way over to here for a shopping area. Like, we probably want to get like a bus stop or something in here to get people to be able to go get needs met, right? And we definitely could build one like right there. Or again, are we just gonna? I guess we should decide. Are we just gonna build this up now? I don't know. Is this close enough to kick in some needs? Now, there's not that many people in here. I mean, we could build one building and just take everybody out of here, or move everybody. If I built one building over in this area, we could probably take darn near everybody out of this one of the big buildings. There's only like 10 and 12 people in each one of these. I mean, it definitely makes more sense to me that we would take advantage of building over here, right? Like, just because, I mean, these houses are, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like a lot of our money going towards pleasing 300 people. Where if we go over here and we build the same exact thing, we've now pleased 600 people, or what, each of these big houses holds 120 at least. I mean, I know there's not 120 people in there right now, but as population increases and they have babies, and I know we're not going to import people, but see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot more efficient to build over here and then bus a few people from this town because we've already built here, so I guess their needs are going to kick in. And then we can get them a shopping center somewhere here, just so, like Radomir's saying, they're not coming over for every single little thing. Yeah, I'll definitely keep it in mind, and yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. All right, so now one of the problems with this particular area is you don't have a lot of natural resources. So let's get these, just for the sake of getting something done. We've got about 20 minutes for the video, and that's the other thing too. Like, we don't have to feel pressured with this. And I know people like to see things getting done, but it was really my intention, and one of the reasons you could say I was dragging my feet, more about getting it started today. Like, we don't really have to decide. But I agree. Let me take out like this house as a starter. Yes. Oops, I almost did the really dangerous. All right, so let's move. You know what? You're going to go, one person in that house is going to go live in there. And let's just play until that house disappears. And then what do you think? I'd like to get a bus stop close, because that would serve most of these people. And I think I'd also like to get rid of these two houses and put another bus stop here, because by the time we build, like, just even a little bit over in this direction, if we get our handy dandy measuring tool, see what I mean? We're getting, like, even if we were right here, we're not, well, here, let's zoom out a little bit. See, we're not getting arrows over to there, and I doubt that the people way over here, again, we're talking about being like here with probably this neighborhood with the shopping center. So how's that sound? We'll build a shopping center and the full Monty, like, right in this area, and we'll spend our dollars on it, hopefully. And then I'll get rid of these two houses. And see, that bus stop right there will cover all of these people. Like on the, I don't know, for me, this, I always kind of consider that direction as being the west is heading over this way. That sound fair? Yes. Yeah. Well, in order to delete the small houses, apparently I have to move them. So let me see if we don't. You can go into there, and you can go into there. Let's delete these two more houses. And you know what, I'm going to play it while I get very carefully, strategically, get the bulldoze tool. There we go. And then once those houses disappear, we'll put in a couple bus stops. The big area. Okay, well let me focus. Oh, you mean okay? Let me see. Let's get our bus stops in. That's a gas station. Don't build a gas station. We don't want one of those. There, not the prettiest, but then I'll put this guy. No, you know what? I'm going to spin him around just because our shopping. I'll put the where the passenger or where the pedestrians go, where the people walk, closer to where the shopping is, right? All right, there we go. So now we have 3 bus stops, and I probably should just have completed those with dollars. Let's do that. There we go. So now, over here we want some of everything. What I'm thinking is that a pub would fit there very nicely, just because it's small. And then I'm kind of picturing like a road that comes around here. Let's see what else we might be able to fit. You know, pub will need a pub and a tennis court might fit in there, huh? Let's leave enough room that we think we can get a footpath. Well, yeah, you know what? Let's see. I think that'll be enough room. These darn. And then maybe we can get like a tennis court in there. And then if we had a road, not too close to the tennis court, but not really. But it was the best plan. Okay. Maybe it wasn't the best plan, but there you go. Let's just finish that with dollars. All right, and then we'll have to get our tennis court attached with at least 1 footpath. Does that sound good? R? Okay, we'll do R with the next building. Now, I placed the pub down with reckless abandon because I know only, like if we ever do end up delivering alcohol here, like the alcohol truck can fill up the 1 parking space and not bother anybody. So let's talk about shopping center. Now, do we think we need a big shopping center or a little shopping center? I mean, a big shopping center is pretty massive, but then we could build more out here. And let's not ignore the suggestion and find the oil field that Nee was talking about. So the big Oil field behind the big city. Is that, here, let me read Nee's comment. I lost track of that comment. I mean, I know there's an oil field over here because that's where, this is where Energenisk is. And it's, or is it? Wait, where are we? No, Energenisk is up here. Yeah, this is where Energenisk is in the regular other playthrough. So where is an oil field? There's an oil field up. No, this is where there's another oil over here somewhere. Yeah, way up here. How many people are in the air? Now I'm lost. I mean, I don't know how you can tell. You know, not too many. I mean, there's like 10 in these big houses, so there's probably about 200 people, I would guess, because like these little houses have like one. You know, the big ones, how many? You know, each have like 10, maybe a little more. So I would guess about 200. Another like 30 over here. And yeah, I don't know where you mean with the oil field. Not that I gave it a college try. Or use. I mean, we can go. We're not. We haven't made a rule to, and we have all these roads connecting it, so it's not like. So I just don't know what you mean by the big city has oil. So. All right, so let me stay focused at least slightly, though focused is not always my strongest skill. So let's just play this to get it built, since I'm not hearing any grand objections to the layout of that. Did I not do that one? Do the pub as well. All right, we don't need to play the pub, but I just wanted to get the road built. So now, I didn't see any opinion about big or little shopping center, though that might have been the reason for your question, Radomir. So let's see. It doesn't really tell you maximum numbers. I mean, that's just an awful big building for getting started, isn't it? I mean, my vote is for the smaller shopping center. And if it's too small, we could do something like reverse what we were talking about, right? Instead of busing, like if it's too small, then I'd rather go over here and build another shopping center and just bus some of the shoppers. Like maybe we wouldn't build there, but like build another shopping center up here and kind of expand this town. So I think that there's going to be a lot of people here, though, if all these buildings get filled up. You are, you know, so it might be worth going big. Let's see how much room it takes up. Does the little shopping center? Yeah, the little shopping center even has better 2 connections. Yeah, so we'll go smaller one for now. We can always, you know, we can always talk about more. So if we put this here, now I want to think about supplying this. And the problem with supplying one of these is that you need, you know, 4 different things, and you only get like, what was it, 2 parking spaces or 1? So I would definitely like to get a road cargo station attached to this guy. Yeah, we could definitely leave some room. We could definitely leave some room. All right, so let's see about, let me just get the leveling. I'm actually going to use the smoothing tool. Get rid some trees that are in our view anyway. All right, so let's go with the smaller one. Definitely sounds like the consensus. Yeah, like that. Come on. Now, one of the ways we'll leave more room is actually to build this. No, they don't give me the option here. Build the road cargo station. You know, something like this. So in other words, if we come back and look at the shopping center, see that, I mean, that's just a little house we can get rid of anyway, but like that would fit in replacement of that, right? And then we could, you know, as long as we don't put something right behind this, we could even put another road cargo center somewhere behind this thing, you know, as long as we don't take up all the room. No problem, D. I just don't. One of the reasons I picked this is where we started the last map, right? And one of the reasons I picked this was because I knew there was no like super easy, you know, resources right in that spot. So it was like that's one of the reasons I still say that's one of the hardest places you can start a map because it's like you have no real advantages starting right here in this general vicinity. Like there's no huge amount of anything like right where we decided to start, which is fine. That makes it more challenging, in some ways more fun. Okay, yeah, we will definitely get rid of, we're probably going to let's get this, here's what I'd like to do. Let's get this stuff laid out, and then I'll make a save of the map. We'll call it a live stream, and then this will be, you know, like we'll really just start from this. This will like kind of give us our start, right? We'll get a cinema in here, and then they should have. Yeah, we should probably talk about a firehouse too, but we'll talk about a firehouse maybe even next. But we'll get it so that the people in the beginning of next week will have some semblance of the stuff that they need, and really next week will be the start of this, right? So let's, and then I'll save the map. I know Nee likes to take the maps and play them. If you guys want to, you know, if you want to play the map before we get started for real, so to speak, we'll have our starting conditions kind of set. I don't know if we need to have so many silly rules about what we will and won't do. And they're not silly, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, just the rules that we had before. All right, so let's play that forward ever so slightly. Yeah, and I agree too. It makes a lot of sense. And we'll, like I said, we'll get really started. Like, I'm glad that we got to the point that we did. Yeah, see, look, there's exactly what Radomir was talking about, right? Like, you can't even put down a road because you got some little silly house's footpath. Yeah, so how about you go into that nice big square? It'd be cool if you could build some of these in the regular, wouldn't it? Like I said, I've never played on this before. So yeah, I don't know if I'll have a lot of extra time this week with being off a day and all that stuff, but. So let's play that until it disappears, and let's have to come over here anyway. There we go. So now, not asphalt. Let's start with gravel. Oop, and I don't want to play time too far. All right, there we go. So now we'll, you know, for future considerations, we've kind of left ourselves enough room to eventually upgrade this to a big shopping center. We have a bus stop that's relatively close, so these guys that can't make it should be able to get over there, and we can even, Yeah, we could talk next week about, do we put another little shopping center here, or just for now have all these, not that big a deal to get them bussed over here for the moment. And it's not like we even have any industry. And we can, when it comes to starting real construction, we can pull people from any of the bus stops. Is like we could make this the main bus stop in town. And yeah, I definitely agree. Well, yeah, these little houses are pretty annoying. Let's just get them their needs as a method of saying the last need should really just be the cinema, right? I mean, I got sport up here. Did I tell them to purchase sport? I thought I did. We have sport up here. We have, everything but the cinema. Yeah, and then what we can do, where should we put the cinema? Since it would fit, but you know what, let's get rid of these. Probably should hit demolish, right? See if we could put our cinema right in this triangular, semi-triangular thing. Well, before we even unpause, we'll head back over to footpaths. Didn't really mean to get rid of that one. Let's put this one back up. All right, let's play it enough to get rid of all that stuff. All right, let me read the comments. Ah, yes, we're forgetting about schools. Or I'm forgetting about schools. All right, let's see. Can we just use the smooth tool a little bit? See if we can get, if we can't get the cinema in here, I would bet we can get, yeah, you know what, that's not going to fit, but that's okay. Now that I was so kindly reminded about schools, let's see, can we get the school? Really? No, really? Let me spin this guy around. That's pretty cool, because we don't really need a road in the long run, but could we get a kindergarten? Like, no. That's all right. We maybe put a statue of Lenin there. We definitely kind of want the school. Kindergartens, you actually kind of end up needing more than one pretty quickly. So why don't I get one in like here, I think. It might, because I could delete this bit of road if we have to get it in. But first, we need to get rid of at least that guy. Get those people. I really should just be. I'm not doing too well with the delete tool. There we go. All right, so now let's see. Can we do a little bit of... Yeah, so that road is going to mess me up. There we go. So there we go. Got a school and a kindergarten. Let's time to go forward too much until these people are happy. All right, let's just let that get played. Look, they're going to them. They shouldn't leave immediately anyway. We should have a little bit of a leeway. Now, here's a question for you. If we're not going to have, and maybe it's 5 o'clock now, and I think we've got, you know, what I would call a start, right? Like we've sort of decided this is where we're going to start from. And like I said, we can make a save of it, and I'll upload it to the Dropbox thing again and leave the link in the description once I see this is up. Hopefully this video is up where I can get to it before I leave tonight. Sometimes it takes a few hours for it to pop into YouTube, like on the regular thing. But I'll definitely, we'll make a save here. Let's do it here before I forget. And I have to give it, so I'm going to just call this one, oops. No, type slow. New after 1, even though this is sort of just the start of it, right? But this is sort of the first live stream of it. So there we go. So if you see a file that has a save called new after 1, you know you got the right one. Let me read some of your chats. Yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Nee, with the, yeah, you can build the road through here, but you can't build the building when the road's through here. So you have to delete the road, build the building, and then put the road back. I've had that happen more than once. This guy needs a connection, doesn't he? Well, no, he really doesn't need a connection. I'm just so used to building everything with construction crews that I think all of these things need connections constantly, right? Matter of fact, maybe we'll, you know, we're going to auto build this one thing with dollars. There you go. River Cross East. This was do you want me to rename this one River Cross East? And the only reason I'm not saying and agreeing immediately is because this was not my name. This was Radomir's name. So Radomir at this point would have to agree to change it, which is fine with me. I don't care either way. Or if you want to name this one River Cross East, that's fine. So there you go. What do you guys think? Is that a good start? Like good, you know, again, just enough so that we can start thinking about it for next Saturday and make plans in our own heads. And one of the things I know I'd want to do is just go around here. When I looked for Revergrad, I looked for, you know, resources just more in this immediate area. So, and again, I don't think we're limited. Heck, even if we use the have to be connected by roads rule, I mean, there's no reason we can't, you know, start an industry near any town, really, right? I mean, I don't know what industry would start. We're kind of limited in many ways, but heck, we can, well, we need to get some money coming in eventually. So there is just the slightest amount of coal over here. But anyway, you get the idea. So, you know, we would have to look around for resources and what we would start here. Now, again, do we want a rule that we have to grow from this area? So that was the reason for attaching the roads, right? Like, so that you couldn't just say, hey, I started here in Streamingrad and then I magically built towns over here, which is right near the border. You know, like that was the other point in the you have to build a gravel road kind of thing, you know, like establish a further connection kind of thing, you know. Okay, so we'll do. Why don't we do this with your name suggestion? Again, that's one thing I thought about that semi rule of mine. Nee, is that I don't want people to argue over the names of things in the game. Not that anybody ever has, but if it ever came down to it, it's sort of like I'll let you guys decide. Obviously, I might be the referee, but generally let you guys decide on what's the better name. Like if someone else picked the name, it's not really mine to change in a sense. There we go. So we've got River Cross East Ice. Yeah, I think I would say that River Cross East. I'm not sure how you intended for it to be said. There we go. I like it, and I'm glad we chose this. I hope everybody can agree that. I mean, I haven't done a populated map, so I'm interested to learn about the differences. It's obviously I can tell I haven't had enough time to really wrap my brain around the difference in the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even really know. Yeah, I just haven't had enough time to really think about it fully. But cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have enjoyed it. And like I said, hope to see you guys again next week. It'll be the same time. I guess I don't have anything I know of at this point, and I don't live the kind of life that things just pop up. I'm not a fireman or something like that. And but no plans for next weekend, so no reason to think we won't be doing it again next Saturday at 2 Eastern Standard Time, which is later for you guys, like 8. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and I will hopefully see you next week. Oh, Chuck just caught me with his chat. Yes, Chuck, that sounds like a good idea. And by the way, we can. Yes, I don't see any reason we can't do that. I think. Yeah. Well, let's see. Let me. I mean, we can each again. I'll load the save up, but I'm sure you can. I mean, I don't think these maps start that different from each other. But if we find out what we want to do, if you have some suggestions, let me know. But yeah, we can definitely move to another town. I don't see any reason. That's why I was asking about, do we have any rule against, like, why don't we just come over here now and get that town a little bit established? I mean, there's nothing to stop us from building here, right? Maybe there's better stuff in the area of this bigger town. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, we'll I'm going to leave the stream play for a minute. If you guys have any last comments, you can add them, and then I'll cut it off after 30 seconds or so. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.